I'm otaku. Because of an accident, I crossed into another world. I turned into a young alien. What's even more dangerous is appearing on a human spaceship. Fortunately, I have the innate ability to evolve by devouring. As long as there is enough food, I can become stronger by feeding. Found a cockroach. Ding. Have evolved wings. Enable. Yes. Suddenly, wings similar to cockroaches grew behind. It's really immediate. Evolution is too fast. But according to the law of conservation of energy, evolution requires energy. 8 dozens of chocolate before feeling full. I have spotted a cockroach again. To solve the problem of excessive energy consumption, cockroaches have strong vitality. Having this characteristic can reduce energy consumption. Tigers eat hungrily. Eat, eat, eat. With a shake of the body, I finally have a little self-defense ability. But it's far from enough to face the interstellar warriors in the future. It's still far from enough now. It's my decision to explore outward. After staying in the ventilation duct, wait until everyone outside is left. I quietly flew out, using my perception ability to explore this spaceship, but unexpectedly heard a cry for help. Curious. So I followed the source of the sound, discovered a pink ball. It turns out to be a human experiment. Her ability is only to store oxygen. For this kind of ability, I despise it. But because she is cute, mainly because she is pink and quite cute, so I helped her. I turned off the electric shock switch. She was about to thank me, but my sixth sense suddenly alarmed. Someone is coming. I quickly flew away from here. I don't want to be discovered by humans so soon. Time is running out. Can only hide and observe in the dark. A man and a woman walked in. Seems to be doing something to the pink ball. After eavesdropping for a while, I found out that this woman is the leader of the spaceship. Love to command randomly. Likes to rush without understanding anything. Everyone has complaints about her. But due to her noble status, no one dares to do anything. Watching the pink ball being clicked. This pitiful appearance. I couldn't help but feel a little sad. If I were caught, it would be like this too. Just when I thought the woman had left like this. Who would have thought she seemed to sense something? Fortunately, I hid well. She didn't find anything. In the blink of an eye, I seemed to have thought of something. Perhaps she can become my breakthrough in stirring up the situation. In a pipeline well deep inside the research spaceship, I spat a mouthful of acid on the ground. Not because I don't practice hygiene, but because I am building a nest, so that I can use my perception, flowing through the pipeline, mastering all the information on the ship. After a few days of completing the nest, I have been eating chocolate in the cargo hold, preying on spiders and cockroaches inside the ventilation duct, monitoring every move outside. Only later did I find out. This woman is called Ru Yue. She is the leader of the research department on this research ship. Although she is weak, but her threat to me is greater than anyone else's. An accident that happened 2 days ago. One test subject has escaped, and she made a tracking device in just 2 hours. The test subject has been successfully captured. If the experimental body ran into the ventilation duct last time, then I would have been gone long ago. But at this moment, he seems to sense hostility, looking towards my position. If only I had that. I was scared to death by this woman a long time ago. She is so sensitive, like a spiritual mutant. Go back to the nest. I was eating chocolate and thinking about how to deal with her. Forget it, I really can't think of anything. So I took 2 chocolates to play with Finchuanchuan. Looking at Finchuanchuan's energetic appearance, I feel like I'm in love. I gave her all the chocolates I found when I escaped from death. Finchuanchuan is emitting golden light all over, expressing deliciousness. However, because I often feed Xiaofan, I thought of it. She has a cat. She really likes cats. If the cat is taken away by me, will it expose her weakness? And that cat doesn't look like Tsukino. Except Tsukino goes to pet it. It sleeps all day. Although it's not difficult to kidnap him. But my intuition tells me the entrance of the ventilation duct is filled with laser sensors. Even a light touch will immediately trigger the smart alarm system. Just as I tapped the ground in frustration and was about to turn around and leave, the cat was unexpectedly attracted to me. It vigorously beat against the ventilation window. As a result, it also attracted the guard. When they saw it was the cat making the sound, they left with a black line on their face. And by this time, I was already scared to death. But whenever they come to check, my alien creature's life ends here. However, considering all the above conditions, it seems I finally understand what to do. Attract cat's attention by making noises. Make the cat walk into my trap. The guard outside the door remembered what happened last time. Thinking that the noise was caused by a cat, he didn't pay attention. Lure him step by step into my trap with Xiaoqiang. When the cat looks outside with a surprised face, little did it know what it was about to face. When it looks down at the last prey, I sneak attack from behind. I paralyze it with my venom. After all, cats are so cute. Who would harm it? 2 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Ryu asked the captain with a gloomy face. When can I see the cat again? The captain can only perfunctorily say that it's because of Ruji's identity. This is inside a spaceship. Unless the cat is kidnapped or escapes with an escape pod, then he must be somewhere on the ship. The captain looks at Ruji's crazy appearance. I secretly wish she didn't come from a noble background. I would immediately lock her up separately, slap her, and see if she dares to make a fuss. Tsukuyami also requested the captain to execute those 2 guards who were not favorable. Everyone was stunned by these words. And I, who saw this scene, understand that they have successfully resolved their conflicts. Success is within reach as long as you seize the opportunity. After eating spiders for several days. System prompt. Intuition has evolved into spider sense. Similar to Spider-Man. Can passively predict future dangers. Everything goes as expected. Tsukuyami has started to go crazy. Tsukiko is the kind of person who only shows her humanity to things she loves. When she loses her rationality. It also deepens the gap between Tsukiko and the soldiers. Tsukiko no longer trusts the soldiers. The soldiers are no longer the same as before. Committed to protecting like a month. When she applies her anger to Xiaofan, I really can't stand it. It's just not the right time. Instead of comforting Xiaofan now, give her what she wants. After Dairuyue and the captain finish arguing, walk out of the captain's room. Stop by the restroom. I realize the opportunity has come, because there is usually a guard following him in. Plus, another guard went to the restroom. That means there is only her at the moment. This is the best condition for an ambush. Underneath her seemingly fragile appearance, a heart as poisonous as a scorpion is hidden. Those who offend her are turned into brain flowers and electric numbness. But she is such a high and mighty woman. Even in dreams, one would never imagine one day to experience such despair. Just after Tsukigata finished arguing with the captain, went out to the restroom. She was leisurely washing her face. Little did she know that I had already set my sights on her. Even if she realizes it now. But it's useless. Poisonous attack. She didn't even have a chance to call for help. Then she fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth from my poison. And I saw such a scene. As the moon, let me slaughter like a lamb. My mouth is watering all over the floor. To be honest, I have been entangled with her for a long time. Just a taste, and suddenly chocolate doesn't taste good anymore. When Ryue's blood enters my body, the gene is consumed by me. I feel 7. The puzzle that stimulates my potential at this moment is finally complete. The system also prompts me that I have met the conditions for evolution, just as I was happily preparing to evolve. My spider senses suddenly give me a premonition. In a few seconds, I will be discovered by the guards, and then shot to death. If the premonition just now is correct, the guard will be here soon. But time is running out. Even if we run, it's too late. We can only try to deal with the guard as well. The guard was stunned by the scene in front of him. Before he could react, I quietly climbed onto his back and attacked. Even if he wanted to resist, it was too late. I, who committed the bloody crime, continued my evolution. After returning to my lair, I began my evolution. Wrapped in mucus as the body, finally turning into a cocoon. Soaking in the cocoon at this moment. Being reshaped by these fluids. Losing control of the body as soon as entering the cocoon. Now just need to wait patiently. Will usher in a new life. As I break free from the cocoon, I slowly crawl out of the cocoon. As I look at my sharp claws, I realize that I had left the larval stage. Truly gained a place. Truly, do you know the place? The alien has 6 forms. A total of 5 evolutions. Can reach the ultimate form. This also means reaching the end of the alien. It can reveal all the treasures about the origin of the alien. However, in the first evolution, although I didn't grow 3 heads, but also grew 6 arms. So this is the larval stage? It feels really fresh. But I also realized at the same time, now is not just about eating cockroaches and spiders. It would satisfy my appetite. So I checked the system panel with my hands in my pockets. Cute pinch. Thinking about the next goal, strengthening exoskeleton. Strengthening exoskeleton, first stage evolution successful, acidic skin. The types I can currently enhance. There are only 2 types. Physical enhancement and mental enhancement. Mental enhancement. 1.5/3 is only half away from mental enhancement. But according to my usual cowardice, only eat cockroaches and spiders. That's zero point 0.5 spiritual power. If I'm not mistaken, it's what Yuzuki gave me. If she could give me a little more, maybe I can awaken my psychic abilities. I set off in a hurry when I thought of this. I opened the ventilation duct and prepared to go in. But I found that the dry body was too big. The ventilation duct is not as wide as before. I was suddenly attracted by a familiar smell. It's the scent of Kisaragi. Following the scent, I found the Tamanaga residence. I finally found you, Kisaragi. However, someone quickly smelled my scent. He looked at the hole. I melted with a dumbfounded expression. There's no way, after all, my body has grown bigger. Before he could go out to inform the guards, I informed him of the situation inside. I grabbed him before he could. First blood. Resolved the little caramel. I smelled the foot odor of Ryu and came. Lifted her white veil. Indeed, although I don't have a nose. But I can still smell her foot odor. Sakiko is only because of the noble capital. Even after death, she will be protected. Even touching is not allowed. At this moment, I suddenly realized I seem to have changed a lot. Even so, ruthlessly taking away someone's life. I can't even feel a trace of guilt in my heart. But there's no time to reflect on myself. My spider sense is tingling again. I sense that the guards would change shifts soon. If the person who is supposed to change shifts arrives, they will witness a scene in front of them. According to the common sense of the cosmic era, these abnormalities represent there is a monster staying in the same space with them, and I haven't grown enough to deal with them yet. I have to find a way to buy some time. But I soon had an interesting idea. It can help me safely get through this crisis. Can extend my development time. The captain saw the burnt stop between the eyes. Can only fall into impotent rage. He has been recently confused by various things. First, as a surprise, died. Then the morgue was destroyed. Among this pile of old corpses, it's impossible to tell who is who. They also have no idea who is behind all of this. And at this moment, the only online medical team leader with intelligence tasted it again. Immediately turned his head and asked, "Is everyone from the capital here?" The blonde girl answered inexplicably, "Yes, why do you ask?" The medical team leader realized that Ritsuki's body was also among them. Cold sweat immediately poured down, while the captain beside him still had a dumbfounded look on his face. The medical team leader helplessly turned his head to look at the captain. "Please immediately gather the heads of each department. Something terrible happened here." After the personnel were summoned, they learned that the bodies of Ryu and the guards had disappeared. I'm breaking down. I'm really breaking down. There is no Taoist priest from Xiangxi on the ship. How could a normal person cheat on the household for no reason? And the captain of the medical team also hurriedly said, "I checked it over and over again. There must be 2 missing corpses. However, it is not impossible for the morgue to catch fire. Just a very low probability." And the minister on the side pondered. In other words, is this a case of malicious arson? And everyone present heard this sentence and discussed it one after another. Actually guessed it was the aliens doing, while the chubby minister on the side seems to have been caught red-handed. Quickly interrupted everyone's speculation. "Stop thinking nonsense, my old buddy." When I heard the other person say, "This is just a possibility," Xiaopongzi timidly fell silent. The captain couldn't help but interrupt the discussion by slamming the table. "Our top priority is meet the interstellar pirates as soon as possible. Throw this blame onto them. Find the head of the family no matter what. You guys understand and get to work." And they have no idea who the real culprit is. Watching them from the shadows, I heard what they were saying. I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Unfortunately, I have a strong self-control. I want to know that I came up with this plan at that time. It took a full 2.5 seconds. By mixing various chemicals in the stopper room to produce toxic substances from raw materials, and then add the fresh acidic booger I dug out. A baffling and mysterious fire, burning all the evidence. But to be honest, their conversation is a bit that really caught my attention. That they are going to contact the interstellar pirates. There are many different races in the interstellar pirates as far as I know. So I can have different genetic evolutions. Explore through perception. I noticed the chubby guy who spoke for me. He walked out with a dejected look on his face. But what puzzles me is, he has nothing to do with this. But why would he do this? As he sneaked into the cargo hold, I understand he must be hiding some unknown secret. Suddenly realized that the container is not right. The security system on top far exceeds other devices. Even the thickness of the steel door exceeds my perception. He must be hiding something dirty. Curiosity killed the cat. But it won't kill me, the alien. Later, the chubby guy got drunk in the tavern every day, although he was drinking alcohol. But he couldn't reveal his thoughts under the influence of alcohol. He clearly understood. Let a third party know about this. He will not escape death. Just because he was temporarily fascinated and bought a batch of alien eggs from a black market dealer. Bought a batch of alien eggs, hoping to make a small fortune. But when he came back from work, he found an alien egg hatched. Finally, after finishing the drink, he staggered, ready to walk back to his own studio apartment. Suddenly, he noticed the eerie and terrifying surroundings. It seems that there are two eyes staring at him in the dark. When he turned around, there was no one there. Just as he took a deep breath, he noticed my figure, and then he ran away frantically. I realized that I had been exposed when I saw this scene. I decided to be honest and stop pretending. With the breath of not brushing my teeth for 2.5 months, trying to knock out the chubby guy, then taking him away painlessly. After all, this guy is my adoptive parent. When I found that alien egg, only then did I finally know the true face of Fatty. It turned out to be a despicable smuggler. No wonder I feel strangely familiar with the egg in front of me. Isn't this going to hatch my eggs? It turns out I was kidnapped, although I don't know what happened at that time. From various clues, it seems that the original me escaped from the container. But these are not important. What's important is that this is paradise. 6 old popsicle sticks are standing vertically. And the most important thing is a few fresh green shell cream puffs. With one bite, it's filled with milk fragrance. It's time to step up and serve the main course. And I can't wait any longer. With a meal of barbarians. These popsicles also give me new powers. But these powers can only be fully utilized in the mid to late game. Disappearing into the ventilation duct with my figure. I remember. It won't be long before I see the space pirates. I need to become as strong as possible. And then devour them all. No one knows at this moment what this research spacecraft will face. Will be a kind of darkness. When the voice of a colleague comes from the late-night maintenance room. Without any hesitation, this man went in with a flashlight in hand. After searching around, I caught a smell that seemed iron-like but not quite. Immediately covered my mouth and nose. Shouted for my colleagues. When I heard my colleague's response, something feels wrong. He also thought of some legends circulating in the spaceship. What metal elves specialize in eating steel railway men. Not afraid at all. Calling colleagues to do something. Then I was ambushed by my metal sprite. My body was taken over. I used the same method to seduce another technician. Then, those who understand, understand. I straightened another one. And I have this ability thanks to the pseudo-sound master, Red Worm. It is a giant worm from a desert planet. It can mimic the sounds of other animals. It hunts other animals using this method. And I watched several technicians from different classes. Can only feel that they did not suffer from the bombing. After I have eaten and drunk enough, skillfully unscrewed the screws of the ventilation pipe. It feels like home here. Really love it here. Suddenly remembered that I haven't seen Finchuanchuan for a long time. Maybe I should visit H on the way. When a high came into my mind. Only then did I realize that the soul organ can be used like this. However, I can also communicate through brainwaves. What I couldn't dream of is, the long-lost Finchuanchuan didn't care if I was doing well, but asked me for food. I really made a mistake, and I can only helplessly say, I'm afraid I can't give you food anymore. Because after Rizuki disappeared, the Minister of Security and Technology has improved the security of the laboratory. While we were chatting, I realized that Finchuanchuan may not last long. If I evolve to the second stage, then I can help Finchuanchuan leave the cage. As far as I know, to evolve to the second stage, 10 species of organisms are needed. And the genes of 10 species of organisms. There are only humans on the ship. As for the upcoming pirates, I don't know much about them either. On the other side, Captain Baldy is furious. The space pirates are coming, but couldn't find Ryu. Are you guys just freeloaders? Then he exploded in anger at the meeting. Subordinates can only silently endure. The culprit behind the scene that was seen in front of him. But he hid in the ventilation duct, covering his mouth and laughing secretly. But things were going in an unexpected direction. Wise people realized at this time, since the security team has made the greatest effort, and checked it over and over again, and found no abnormalities. So the meaning is clear. The killer may not be human, although the metal elves may just be a rumor. But there are indeed some unknown creatures attacking us. I realized something was wrong when I heard these words. But the teammates are still performing steadily. Immediately retorted, if there are other creatures on the ship, it would have been detected by artificial intelligence long ago. Are you looking down on AI? But you don't have to rush. The freezer of that chubby guy is empty. And this kind of freezer usually freezes living organisms. But those organisms have disappeared. She is in the meeting. It seems like I've guessed something. The thing that worries me the most happened. But my good teammate, Captain Baldy, obviously didn't take his words to heart. Okay, okay, okay. So let's assume there's a strange space creature causing trouble in our spaceship. But how could it leave no trace? The man in the blue suit, upon hearing this, pointed to a certain place. That's because there are many places we haven't searched. And looking in the direction of the pointing finger, there, ventilation duct. Only the ventilation duct spans the entire starship. A length of about 1 meter is enough for it to move, and I'm terrified. If I keep searching like this, I will eventually be exposed. That man's name is Arnold, right? I'll get you later, kid. In this case, this will be an unavoidable battle. According to Arnold's plan, he will definitely arrange cameras in the pipeline. Not only that, the pipeline will also be blocked. The current situation is extremely perilous. There are cameras in the lobby, and the pipeline is now inaccessible. So should I choose to fight them or continue hiding? I pondered for a moment while idle. I remember everything I heard today. No way out, huh? Fuck you. I will tell them how foolish and ridiculous they are. But what I have to face now are various threats from the outside world. To confront them, the first thing to do is to gather information about the enemy. As my palm touches the ground, incredible energy is released from my body. My perception abilities have been greatly enhanced, speeding through complex ventilation ducts. Such power is difficult to be detected by technological means. No matter how you put it, the enemy is in the light. I am in the dark. The advantage is mine. If this ship is a Mantis, then I am the nematode deeply rooted in its body. Keep abreast of everything happening here. Avoidance cannot solve the problem. Through my perception, learn that their insecticide plan is underway. Master the movements of armed soldiers. As I expected, they chose the strategy with the most bullet comments. Separate the search to improve search efficiency. It seems they really think of me as a weakling. Are you trying to fight alone? So let's open the door and welcome them. In the temporary strategic command center, their search operation is proceeding smoothly. Arnold is full of confidence, ready to go home and open champagne. Metal Sprite, you will be defeated today. There was a small accident during the action. The Wi-Fi signal of Team B3 member is very poor. It's almost down to 0. Seeing such a situation, Arnold instructed everyone. The route is complicated. Everyone should be cautious. At this moment, Arnold noticed. There seems to be a problem with the camera of B3 operative. Turn around and tell the technicians. Ask B3 to stop and check the equipment. B2, please meet up with B3 immediately. As B2 approaches, the camera's image is transmitted. The people present were shocked. Arnold also realized. It must be him who appeared. The camera only transmitted garbled code. After these two idiots were dumbfounded for a moment, blaming the technician afterwards. How did you do the work? Arnold reacted. Sweat poured down his back. How could he solve them in an instant? That's 2 warriors wearing medium-enhanced armor. Even the master assassin would find it difficult to do this. The fist clenches unconsciously. It seems that I underestimated its strength. I treated it as an ordinary wild animal. Then he waved his hand. Pass to the whole team. Once any movement is detected, please open fire without hesitation. Arnold's face gradually darkened. It also indirectly proves this operation. He doesn't have much confidence in it. If we continue like this, we will be defeated one by one. At this time, everyone's attention is focused on B1. I heard a strange sound. I can feel the sound getting closer to me. Due to too many branching pipelines, it's difficult to distinguish the direction. When the signals of B1 and B3 dock again, this news finally relieved Arnold. This just means a false alarm. B1, how do you look at the ceiling? And B1 replied. B3 disappeared. Arnold heard an explosion in an instant. Right under your nose. You have no idea what happened. Throw the headphones on the ground. Damn it. A look of collapse. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. They're together. How did I not notice what happened? And B1 and B3 didn't appear in the shot. Unless you deliberately avoid shooting the monster. But this is simply impossible. Wait a minute. At this moment, Arnold seemed to have figured something out. Slowly put on the headphones on the ground. B1, please state your rank and name. I'll repeat it again. Please say it out loud. The answer from the other side shocked Arnold. Looks like you caught me. Then a pair of big hands directly destroyed the camera, although it was fast. But everyone present saw that hand. What the hell is going on? Hi, finally it's my turn. I want to clarify that I didn't cheat. I just drew inspiration from Fontuan. The communication channel was disrupted by wavelength interference. Therefore, B3 stopped to check the equipment. Being alone means being easily controlled by me. First, use neurotoxins to incapacitate him. After that, I ate half full but not completely full. So let me see where Team A is. After receiving the message, Team A immediately entered a state of full alert. Just as expected, they found out that I can mimic voices. They became more alert. Maybe I can use this. Mislead them. There happens to be a fork in front of Group A. They will pass by here soon. I often heard people say in the previous life, knowledge is power. But knowing too much can be detrimental. At this moment, he did not unleash his unparalleled skills to kill indiscriminately. But squatting here, it is indeed Lao Lu. A team member is about to pass by here. For them, they are completely unaware. Their fate is played in the palm of my hand. They were suddenly alerted by a sound. Help me. Save me. After the previous lesson, they quickly realized it was the enemy. Then they started firing. But I had already expected it in my heart. I calmly avoided it, because everything is under control. I am the ultimate sixth in the universe. It was just a diversionary tactic. Carefully probe forward, a team that stopped attacking. Little did they know, I had already arrived behind them. Then, the claws quietly reached out on both sides of the man. Hearing the man's screams, only then did the teammate turn around. He found himself being used as a shield by me. But what I never expected was his final words were not a plea for help. He fired at me, even though I am a human being. But I never expected this man to have such a belief. Even though I am very cowardly, I can only flee in panic. Caught off guard. Got hit by a few bullets but only grazed the skin. When I ran without a trace, they let their guard down. Go check on his condition. Although some rescue efforts were made, but look at Air Guzzi's appearance. I'm afraid there's not much time left. And the teammates beside him vowed to avenge Air Guzzi. Looking at the narrowing passage in front of him, feeling a sense of unease in his heart. If you want to move forward, you will encounter enemies and crash. You can only rely on technology and hard work. With a sound after he finished operating, his pupils suddenly dilated. Power surged up. He, who hasn't had time to adapt to his power age. He grabbed the iron wall barehanded and left finger marks. As they moved forward, unexpectedly, they discovered a large hole dissolved by acid. They cautiously investigated the situation. I found no trace of myself. I informed the Slack department that I might have left through the ventilation duct. I can only say that they are still too young. After knocking down one of the Karami casually, just about to use the same trick again. He, who never expected to avenge Ergo, even willing to kill his own teammate. My invincible poison sting was also blocked with a single sword parry. He even wanted to punch me. I was stunned. I realized this guy is definitely cheating. I must not get angry with him now. I turned around and ran away. Only leave him in place, raging in impotence. And all I can do is sigh. Heroes are as common as Christian carp crossing the river. I can't fool people with such tricks anymore. There must be a better way to deal with him. On the other hand, dying dog, waiting for rescue, accidentally saw me. I said to teleport up, stick close to him, scare the hell out of him, then crush the camera on his helmet. I think that should be enough. Received bad news about Ergo's distress. Good buddy rushed over in a hurry. There was no time to check on Ergo's situation. Immediately operating Ergo's tactical panel. Activate healing. But what he didn't expect was a spike emerges from Ergo's body. It suddenly plunges into his body. It turns out that it's not Ergo inside the armor. It's the ultimate universe old six. And I'm gripping a one's neck. Mockingly said, the dog is really delicious. And this scene was clearly transmitted to the command center through the helmet. They were scared and paralyzed on the ground. At this moment, Arnold suddenly realized, what kind of monster are they facing? And I haven't let go of the vigilance of the spirit of old six. I just feel that after this time, they will never underestimate me again. What they will face. They are using stronger weapons against me. If they have plasma weapons, that would be too dangerous. After all, That thing is the fleet's high-energy weapon. It is usually used to destroy battleships and tanks. That thing is really big. But there are also small ones. Those are ridiculously expensive. But seeing them profit like this, I guess they don't have this kind of weapon. When the soldiers gathered together and advanced towards the agricultural area, and I realized, my opportunity has come. While they are searching in the wrong place, capture the thief first. And I noticed, in such a situation, they're still arguing, blaming each other. Seeing this scene, I can only say one thing. This is stable. Then use perception to investigate their location. And I noticed that my favorite Arnold is too far away from me. The closest to me is the researcher who often bullies Finchuanchuan. It's decided to be you. And everyone was scared and ran away. Those who reacted quickly are still running. Those who reacted slowly have already been caught. What surprised me was, Arnold didn't run away. Instead, he pointed a gun at me. Doesn't he know that in my whole life? I hate it the most when someone points a gun at me. Well, since you want to die so badly. Just as I was about to gather strength to kill him, my spider sense rarely warns me. I might die at his hands. It turns out Arnold was deliberately pretending to be weak, getting injured just to let me get close to him. In such a close situation, I have no way to avoid it. At this moment, I am already sweating profusely. Plasma pistol. I didn't expect him to really have this thing. Even a scratch can be fatal. If I get hit once, either dead or disabled. Arnold saw me hesitating and unwilling to move forward. So I took out a real weapon from my pocket and declared my death sentence. As the plasma ray emerges from the muzzle, and I can only panic and choose a path. First, let's lay low. I also realized, this will be the moment since I was born, the greatest crisis. And this hunt is far from over. Victory belongs to me. But I have also learned a lesson from Arnold. Caution leads to success. Light delivery leads to more defeats. When I perceive Arnold with perception, indeed, his heart rate is very stable. In other words, it was just his performance before. I sniffed it from him, similar to the sin of a hunter, while I am his prey. But the pig teammates behind him remind him, be careful not to damage the machine. He even effortlessly replies to them, I will be careful. As expected, he is just procrastinating. It seems like he wants to harm me on the surface, but actually he is just trying to restrain me, waiting for the reinforcements to come and beat me up. At the same time, it also protects the captain and others. This is his plan. I accidentally found a fire extinguisher. Perhaps this can become my winning weapon. When the smoke burst, it quickly blocked Arnold's vision. People are trapped in a smoky jungle. Now it's time to switch roles. Hunting time. In the smoke, they can only rely on sound to gather information. But don't forget, I can imitate voices. Swallowing a man while taking advantage of the chaos. Obtained his voice, disturbing the crowd with his voice. And this little fool was driven to despair by me. Directly blind fire a shot. Unexpectedly hit Arnold's right arm. Arnold is really going to be pissed off by these teammates, but still shooting at me despite the pain. I pulled a little, then spread my own wings. Directly pounce. Arnold never dreamed that I still have this move. And I cut it off immediately. And I walked away gracefully from the side of the small caramel, even pointing a gun at me. I can't be bothered with him. And he was almost scared shitless by me. Then he returned to the ventilation duct. Afterwards, the captain was calculating the casualties of this time. My several capable subordinates have died. If I face the space pirates in this state, it will definitely be a dead end. I secretly thought in my heart, maybe I should give up everything and escape. The soldiers were cleaning up Arnold's body. Unexpectedly obtained the plasma pistol. The captain was surprised to find that there was still 60% of energy. Although it was a bit worn out, it was enough for self-defense. He walked out of the hall in despair. Nowadays, there are internal and external troubles. There are alien creatures wreaking havoc internally. There are pirates attacking from the outside. And at this time, I am preparing to expand my own lair. First, there is a buffet restaurant. Eating is especially important for the living. I can cut off their supply by contaminating the food. Next is the arsenal for storing plasma weapons. This is a weapon that can kill me, so I have to deal with him immediately. Then it's the laboratory. It has a large number of biological specimens for me to evolve. But the problem is that only 10% of D. The probability of obtaining abilities from it is low. It depends on appearance. But I first went to the laboratory. By communicating with the pink team, I learned that they were all hiding in their rooms. No drug experiments were done, that is to say, no one. So can I go out openly and honestly? But cautious me still waited for 30 minutes. Now I don't need a dog ticket anymore. When I walked up to the fluffy face, luckily, I arrived just in time. If I were any later, maybe she will starve to death here. Finchuanchuan said she doesn't reject food, and she is also immune to my toxins. So there is no problem taking her away. After a few steps, I told Finchuanchuan to be careful, charging towards the glass cover with my steel-like forehead. The tremendous impact shatters the glass cover. I use my body to shield Finchuanchuan from the glass shards. Finchuanchuan happily climbs onto my shoulder. Thank you. Say something. And I turn my back to the cold. It's definitely not because of shyness, but because I want to do something big. Then I cleared my throat loudly. Spit out a lot of acid. Occupy the laboratory. Feel a little safer. Maybe just exerted too much force. Feeling a bit hungry. Caught a brain flower casually. Looks like it's the brain flower that offended Ruyue. Took a bite and gave it to Fintuan to eat. Fintuan is not living a good life. Eating a brain flower brings so much joy. But at this moment I sensed, as if someone is coming, a soldier with steady footsteps, followed by a researcher. When they saw the current situation in the laboratory, was greatly surprised. However, the soldier's reaction was still quite sharp. Then he pointed the muzzle at me. How many times have I said it? I don't like being pointed at by a gun, just like this little caramel tea. I don't even avoid going up. It's just a flat A. And the other researchers. I almost smashed his skull with one hand. But Finchuanchuan asked me to go easy. When I saw the plump and round appearance, I understood this man. Definitely involved in bullying Plump and Round. Then handed Plump and Round to the man. Plump and Round pounced on it. Cover the man's mouth and nose. Restrain the man. But none of that matters. What matters is to eat. Finally, the long-lost system jumped out. Looks like I'm lucky. System prompt. Unlock new form? Although it takes 7,500 creature hearts to eat. 3 characteristics have emerged from the sample. But the xenomorph should be content. Just as I hesitate whether to evolve P now. But if there is a pink ball, shouldn't be a problem. Turned my head and looked at the pink ball. Wait for me. Let me transform a bit. With a light touch of the fingertips on the system panel, the bones inside start to twist. Broke through the outer shell of several T's. The skin is swollen like it has been soaked in water. Muscles grow wildly all over the body. And the powder is stunned. It's no wonder that Brother Guai directly spins around. Such big thighs. After hugging me, won't you be able to eat delicious and spicy food every meal? Seeing the situation, the powder ball wanted to pounce on me. And I stopped it and explained it. What happened to me? I evolved. And Finchuanchuan has no brain to understand such words. Although I don't understand, it makes me happy. But speaking of which, after evolution, I feel. From an assassin who kills in the dark to a tank who withstands damage. I carefully appreciate the results of this evolution. The arms and legs are covered with a hard shell. The legs are strengthened with power. It makes my explosive power even stronger. When I check my talent panel, awaken 3 powerful abilities. There is a hole in the palm, a long and thin tentacle, stretched out like a whip. Its power can even penetrate through walls. Can also tear people apart. It can be long or short. This greatly expands my attack range. No longer limited to close combat. I bend down, place your palm on the floor. The robe path quickly grows and spreads from the ground. Instantly invade the surroundings. And these spores not only have acidic corrosion, but also release neurotoxins. I can still regenerate here. In other words, just with this ability, I can turn the entire ship into my fortress. Even if Thanos comes, he will have to take a slap from me before leaving. When I step through this door, they're about to witness a nightmarish existence in the universe. And this nightmare is created by their own hands. After a moment, a man commanded everyone to retreat. Stop wasting time and hurry up. Such behavior is destined to be in vain. Because there are too many teammates who drag you down. What are you doing? Close the door quickly. And the researcher beside is already collapsed. We will all die. Men, don't be polite to him. Kick it over. Want to S oneself S. Don't drag me into it. As he pulls down the handbrake, the gate suddenly closed. But it was still too late. The titanium alloy gate, weighing over 10 tons, was directly deformed by my hands. They have no way to retreat. Like a lamb to the slaughter. Can only suffer in silence. But I won't pity them for it. Children shouldn't learn. Soon the inside of the research ship will be like hell on earth. Shortly after, in the medical room on the research ship, the bullying researcher is receiving treatment here. Thanks to advanced medical technology, he can sense the situation outside. The footsteps outside seem to have disappeared. It seems like something happened. But what crime did I commit? Let me endure such torment, no matter how much purple sand or firewood. The abnormal silence here was broken by someone's footsteps. At first, he thought it was the sound of military boots, but soon he realized that this heavy footsteps could not be made by a human. Finally, the footsteps stopped, although he couldn't see it, but he understood it was definitely that guy. The fact also turned out as he expected, but I don't want to deal with him too rudely. As I lightly tap the keyboard, and the old ding in front of me has not yet realized what is about to happen. Didn't he just kill me directly? But soon he felt something fluffy and soft on top of his head, flowing down like chocolate syrup on bread, directly covering his entire head. He felt a piercing pain. If not for the ventilator, he would have suffocated long ago. He even prayed for the monster in front of him to end him directly. 3 hours later, the powder ball finally crawled out from inside after being full and separated. Jump into my hands. Are you full? I asked Finchuanchuan. How does it feel to have avenged? But she didn't have such advanced emotions. Only one good review. After all, she really doesn't eat much. And I looked at the pink ball. Is this little fool worthy of their research for so long? Suddenly I remembered a creature. Instantly sweating. Will the powder ball not evolve into a sea demon in the future? Creatures on a marine planet. Similar in appearance to the powder ball. Body length exceeds 30 m. There are countless tentacles hidden in the body. However, there is no basis for this. After all, she is so cute. Just as I was about to continue thinking, my thoughts were disrupted by a group of pink balls. She emits a faint light. It is a sign of exhaustion, as far as I know. Then she left the medical room. The corridor outside is no longer as tidy and futuristic as before. So neat and full of a sense of the future. Stems covered in spores. Just like a cursed garden, it seems the nesting was successful. But it's also time to end all of this.